السلام عليكم. اليوم عندنا حرف جيم. جيم جيم. تمام، فاكتبوا الصفحة هنا واسم الحرف جيم. جيم. أوب. لا أصفر. نقطة وخط. تمام، والصوت الحرف ج. 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 تمام، مثل jewel. هذا jewel. تمام. It can be a softer j sound or a little bit harsher j. Okay, it depends sort of on the dialect that's being spoken and the accent of the person who's speaking and things like that. So it's either j or j. Okay, just like in English, J and G can make both of those sounds. وهذا الحرف social ومش جني. تمام؟ ماشي. فالشكل, this letter, its shape takes a little bit of practice, so you'll just need to practice the shapes and get used to it over time. ففي البداية نعمل كذا وكذا ونقطة. تمام? So what's really important with this letter is that it hooks downward here, because otherwise we can end up mixing it up with dal and dal. And there are two other letters that have this base shape as well, one of which has no dots, so it can really end up looking like a dal if you're not careful. Some people prefer to do this letter a little more angular, like with three sort of straighter diagonal, and then straight line. That's fine as well. It's more common to see this curved shape, but this one is also okay. تمام. في النص من حرف social نعمل كذا. Most people just end up picking up their pen and doing that. Be careful, because what I just did here is almost connected, and we don't want that to be connected. So I'm going to do that one over. تمام، مرة ثانية. فمن حرف social نعمل كذا وكذا. So just try not to make it connect down. Whoop. This pen is not responding the way I'd expect it to right now. تمام كذا. Okay, let me get one more because it's not quite the ideal shape. كذا. That's a little better. Okay? So it's basically the same as في البداية, but after a social letter. وفي النهاية نعمل كذا من حرف social. Again, most people end up picking up their pen here and doing this, like that. Okay, I'll do that again. This shape is a little bit complicated. It takes some practice. So this is like the shape that we've been doing, right? Except then we curl around below the line. ونقطة in the middle. Notice that the dot's placement has changed a bit as well. Okay? ماشي. وكذا. Oh, I did mean to show you one thing. في النص. I don't recommend that you do this shape, but I do want to show you one other way that this can sometimes look. Okay, so I'm going to do it on this line, imagining this is the line. Some people in handwriting, you really don't see this in typing, but in handwriting, sometimes you'll see, instead of this shape for the middle, you'll see this, a zigzag line with a dot underneath it. تمام. In that case, if you were to put that into the middle of a word, like for example, let's say we had ba wa jiim. وباء. Again, just to keep it simple. If we were writing that on a line, we'll do it over here. We would put that first ba actually floating above the line, then use the jiim to get down onto the line, and then continue the word as we're used to on the line. Okay, so it ends up looking something like that. So I don't recommend this right now unless you already do your jiims like this, just because it's more complicated because you have to plan ahead with what part of the line you're writing on. But I just did want you to know that that is a shape of jiim that exists in handwriting in case you encounter it. So let's add one of those to our notes. Maybe you have a little more room than I do, but if not, just squeeze it in. Okay, like that. So you know that that is the jiim as well. تمام. وأخيرا في لوحده مثل في النهاية, except we're not coming from another letter. فكذا. تمام. كذا. كذا. تمام. Okay. شكل الحرف, sometimes we say as a mnemonic for this, jewel in a jewelry box, okay, because that has two J sounds in it, and it looks like you could imagine the dot is a jewel and this is the box. Okay, والكلمة, I'm gonna write it here. Okay, let's sound it out. الجمعة. الجمعة. الجمعة يعني تمام. اوكي، شكرا، مع السلامة.